Well, I've got this question. It says that your 8 billion naira wage bill to the banks take 10 billion. You're left with 2 billion plus IGR of 7 billion. Hidden wonder. So how does the state operate?
That's the point now. That's what we're saying. That's what we're saying, that not just me, maybe probably Lagos can survive. Virtually all states are under heat. So what we decided to do for now is pay salaries and then manage to tell our contractors, don't worry, maybe things will improve with time. Like this month, we got 14 billion. So
is it that states didn't see this coming? Because, you know, we've always talked about
that's not what
viable states.
That's what we
and
say.
People improving and building on, you know, using the oil money to do something that will sustain them when oil dries up.
But that's not what to say. You should say the federal government not see this coming. Because by the time...
Governor Amaechi, let me take you up on this one. It's very important because I do know that you've spoken about the excess crude account severally. And I know that, you know, at one occasion, I think it was the South-South Economic Summit, yourself and the Minister of Finance did have an argument of some sort over the legality or otherwise. And you know that the Nigeria Governors Forum then was threatening to take the federal government to court over the excess crude account. And she was on and on about savings so that when...
What savings?
Just a moment. Just when a situation like this comes up, we have buffers. We're able to survive through it as a country. But the governor said that is not provided for in the constitution, and then who says they cannot do their own savings by themselves? So the thinking then was a lot of state governors were also providing their own personal state buffers.
I did.
It doesn't look
like
I
saved up to 53 billion naira.
So how come
I used to save 1 billion naira every month?
Why would you then say that states are under heat, including your state?
Just listen. I am able to pay my contractors because I have a saving. That saving was not meant...
You say you're barely managing to pay them, that you're just pushing through it.
Yeah, we're pushing through it because we've gone there, taking 19 billion, we're taking 30 billion, we're taking virtually all the money now. So at this point, you have a crisis of not paying salaries, but you need to pay your contractors. You get that point? You need to pay your contractors because when we came, we took so many projects, we took over 750 schools, primary schools. We took 24 secondary schools, which were now limited to 7 to complete the 7, and all that. So many projects. But the point, let's go back to the excess crude account. You see, savings wasn't the problem with the governors. It was the corruption in the excess crude account. It was the fact that without any clearance, the federal government dips their hand in the excess crude account to fund their business. An excess crude account is money you save from the state government and the federal government.
Were you able to reach an agreement that, you know, that this was the problem you had and, you know, to ensure that doesn't happen in future?
Yes, then the Minister of Finance said, trust me and my integrity, it won't happen. But what's happening now? The federal government has said they can't see $1 billion.
Okay, well, we're winding down now. Let's talk about this before we wrap up because peace during the elections and after the elections...
Let me ask one question before you go. Have you gotten any report from the state saying that we're owing salaries? Because you see,
yes, they said Osun State is owing.
No, I mean Rivers State. I'm not here to talk about.
No, you said APC State.
I'm not talking about APC State. I'm talking about Rivers State.
Governor Amaechi, Asayami Brakemi says, as at yesterday, teachers in Rivers State have not been paid their salaries.
Who is this person lying?
That's one. Then there's Havata Fuye says, since 2012, there were coppers, 4 batches of coppers in the state that have not been paid.
That's a different thing. When you talk about coppers, the coppers we're not owing coppers as in their salary. No, it is that what we met on ground is that every month, despite what they pay them at the federal level, the state government will give each copper 10,000 naira. I can choose to say, okay, we won't pay again. Nothing will happen because the service they have
10,000 naira.
10,000. They are paid by the service. But the state government then adds 10,000 to all coppers who serve in Rivers State. And we've not paid for some months, so make arrangement to pay that.
No, they are saying it's from 2012.
I don't know about 2012. We paid the first 1 billion, and then last 3 or 4 months, and we're making arrangement to pay before the end of this year.
All right, talking about peace before we go. I know that Professor Akinyemi talked about how he thinks that both candidates should ensure peace before and after the elections, wherever the pendulum swings. But you were credited to have made certain statements that if PDP rigs, you will not go to court, there will be anarchy. Is that correct, and why would you say that?
Thank God you now have put it in the context. The first context you must begin with is that we said if the president defeats APC in a free and fair election, APC will congratulate the president and will not take the laws into their hands. and will not go to court because he has won a free and fair election. And then I went ahead to say, but if they use the military against us and use and rig the election, then we will still not need to go to court. Because what they did is illegal. We will also take an illegal action.
And
this time, please, this time our action will be illegal. Because it will be coming from the people. Our action will be legal. If you want a peaceful election, then you must take peaceful steps. The first peaceful step the federal government must take is to assure the country that they will not use the military against the people. It's not against APC.
But should you be saying
Didn't you see it in Osun? No, didn't you see it in Ekiti?
Yeah, should you be saying or making a statement that you will not go to court? Because
this
is politics.
Court?
People will misinterpret.
Tell me what you go to do in court.
What?
The court.
How did you come into to become a governor?
Please, then you had rule of law. Now you don't have rule of law. Let me show you. Please,
we don't have rule of law now.
Can you please allow me? The court made an order that Inspector General of Police should reverse his decision not to provide security for the speaker and send back the security to the speaker. The IG did not obey. Please, is that rule of law? You interviewers. That's court. The IG sits down and says to you, the speaker is no longer speaker. Is it the court to decide who is? There are only two ways to decide who becomes the speaker of the house. Either the court or the members of the House of Reps.
Isn't that double standard on your part? Because you just said now that you're in court about the excess crude account. And in another breath, you say you will not go to court. So
that's for election.
Yeah, but
just
if for election
we went to court in 2012, 2013. That's when we went to court. If, as at here now, the court is not the problem.
Is the matter still not in court?
The court is not the problem. Get it right. The problem is those who implement the court's decision.
No, the impression people get out there from what you've said, don't forget, these are social issues, so people will interpret it differently, is that you're saying there will be anarchy, you will not go to court, and they think...
I don't know what you mean by anarchy.
If I said that.
I never said there will be violence. I never said we will carry gun and shoot people. I only said, if the president defeats APC in a free and fair election, our leadership in APC, are responsible men, we will congratulate the president.
The question will be, have you seen Professor Bolaji Akinyemi's statement?
Yes.
And if you have, do you agree with him that
what?
Either way, it would seem that we're in for some amount of violence?
APC is not
whoever it is emerges as winner of this election.
APC does not encourage violence. APC will not encourage violence. Our young men and women are...
This is not about the APC.
It's about who?
It's about whether or not the followers outside the APC, supporters of the APC or the PDP, just a moment, sir, the supporters of the APC or the PDP are susceptible to violence if either of the candidates wins. Do you agree with that?
Certainly not our supporters. We believe that our supporters know that it is irresponsible to be violent, but we also believe that the federal government should allow a free and fair election.
What do you make of a suggestion? Is this something that your candidate
will does not. Let's call all the parties and let them sign documents. It will stop violence. What stops violence? You see, social justice is essential. I don't know why people don't talk about social justice. You just look at the other issues. You deny a man food, you say he should not steal your food.
We look at all issues here.
Well, if you do, then look at that. Look at that. You see, when I became governor and I saw militancy, the first thing I told the president is that this thing you call militancy is not militancy. It is the fact that people are hungry. So you deny a man food, you don't provide him an alternative. And I want the federal government, I say, if you don't provide legitimate means of livelihood, then you give the people opportunity to provide for themselves illegitimate means of livelihood. So if you talk about violence, the first you do is to ensure that there is a free and fair election. When it happened in Ekiti, even though there was a debate whether it was free or not, APC congratulated Fayose. Why don't you see that as an example and praise APC for being able to rise and say, okay, Fayose, congratulations. It's never happened in the history of Nigeria. And the APC is in a position to tomorrow to repeat that action.
We saw how they recanted afterwards.
Went to court.
Listen. They went to court. They went to court against the process about the qualification of the man. They didn't go to say whether it was counted or not. They went to court to say, is this man qualified to run an election? That's a different thing. So you should praise APC for that.
Okay, Governor Rotimi Amaechi is the governor of Rivers State and the Director General of the Buhari Campaign Organization. Thank you for coming on this morning, and all the best in your endeavors.
You're welcome.
We'll be back after this break. We've got other matters coming up today on the program. Join us again.